Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. We are gathered today to talk about the request for proposals number 2021-08, educator preparation and leadership to support inclusionary practices. We are recording the session today, and it's an opportunity to answer questions that potential bidders may have regarding this request for proposals.
Could we get the person's name and the company you're with that's online? Okay, Tanya, Amanda Sloan is coming in.
Mm-hmm. Wait for a moment for her to get connected. Hi, Amanda. Welcome.
Hello.
Can you tell us which company you're with?
Yeah, so I am the director for Spark at Skagit Preschool and Resource Center in Mount Vernon. And I was reading through the bid, and I saw that this was happening, looked at the clock and thought, oh, I should just hop on. So I'm not quite sure what my questions are right now, but I'm here to hopefully learn a little bit more.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, Jessica, for giving us your name. So it's Jessica Hammond from Glean Education. Welcome. I thought that I could open with just a brief overview of the RFP itself and what the components are. I'll share with you a few questions that we've gotten that have come in from other potential bidders so that we talk through some of those. And then if there are any questions that come to mind, we can chat about those as they occur to either of you.
Tanya, do we want to do introductions of the OSPI staff that are on here?
Sure, that sounds great. My name is Tanya May, and I am the Director of Special Education in our OSPI division.
And my name is Tina Pablo Long. I am the Director of Operations in the Special Ed Division. Sharon?
Hi, I'm Sharon Jordan, and I'm the Senior Secretary for our division.
Great, thank you. And Sharon's here to just make sure that we capture the notes. Anything that we talk about today, we'll make sure to publish so that others can read any of the questions that we talk about.
And just clarification, you're all from OSPI?
We are.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's only one other person on today, at least so far, and that's Jessica Hammond.
Thank you.
Sure. So the proposal is going to be due on November 13th, 2020 at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And we anticipate that as it goes through the contract process, that it would be executed January 2nd, 2021, and would go through June 30th, 2021. Any amendments that extend the period of performance would be at the sole discretion of OSPI. So the proposal would get submitted to our contracts department. And then if I can scroll down, just bear with me for a little bit. We'll talk about some of the overall parts. So we have some definitions at the beginning. And then here is our purpose. So what we have a few different sections of this RFP that we're aiming to focus on. And so we are looking at a project to supplement and support partnerships among OSPI, the Collaboration for Effective Educator Development, Accountability and Reform, or CEDAR, that's out of the University of Florida, the Washington Association of Colleges for Teacher Education, or WACTE, the Center for Strengthening the Teaching Profession, CSTEP, e-learning for educators at the Evergreen State College, and content experts in the fields of multi-tier system of support, or MTSS, inclusionary practices, and educator leadership. And we're really looking to address the existing gap between the educator workforce and our OSPI inclusionary practices mission of providing inclusive education to all students. So we're looking at kind of 4 main areas of this work. A recruitment and payment to content experts on inclusionary practices and MTSS to develop curriculum content for up to 10 asynchronous modules. And that would be open enrollment to everyone so that they could access that content and also potentially earn continuing education credits. Recruitment and payment for 2 MTSS expert keynote speakers for the Northwest Positive Behavioral Intervention and Supports Conference that'll be in February of 2021. The development of asynchronous and synchronous models based on the Inclusionary Practices Handbook and in coordination with OSPI leadership, the Fellows Advisory, and WATAC Organization of Teachers of the Year, opportunities to pilot the modules for feedback and use for our educators in Washington. And then finally, oversight of the Washington branch of CEDAR's work to infuse inclusionary practices within our higher ed preparation programs. So I'll pause there for just a moment. The rest of the RFP goes really into detail on some of these, but that's the overarching focus. And so are there any questions? Tina, is there anything clarifying that you think we should point out right now?
Not at this moment.
Thanks.
I have a question, if I may.
Sure.
Sure, Jessica.
This is Jessica Hammond from Glean Education. And the question is, it seems like one of the main aspects of this RFP is to actually do instructional design for those asynchronous modules. But there is also a component where you're coordinating with all those different organizations. Just want to confirm that I'm understanding that correctly.
That's a great clarification. We really see this role as the facilitator of that work, not the content developer. So it would be recruiting those content experts to develop the modules, not necessarily or not specifically to be actually creating them.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this might be a silly question, but I need clarification. So this is the developing the modules or the work for educators learning how to provide inclusive teaching models, or to actually provide educators with teaching models, or developing the work of those teaching models of inclusive teaching to educators to put out to other teachers.
Well, so for numbers 1 and 2, numbers 1 and 3, those are development of modules. So they would be courses, asynchronous courses that educators could enroll in and follow through those activities. And then, once they have, at the end of the course, they would have a completion or certificate.
On how to do inclusive, okay.
Yeah, or concepts of what are the overall components of MTSS and the framework that's built on.
Okay.
And I have one last question. In terms of LMS, are you expecting that is part of the work of the facilitator to have a learning management system at the ready to host this asynchronous learning? Or are you expecting to use one that's already used by OSPI?
That is where the coordination with e-learning for educators comes in. They are one of our OSPI special education funded state needs projects, and they already have a Canvas set up for that. So really what we're just looking for is the facilitator to bring those entities together, to coordinate e-learning and the content experts so that they can provide the course content, and e-learning would then set up that design in the Canvas course.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I can show everyone here as well. There are a few questions that have come in and we've answered them. And so we just wanted to have a moment to go over those. So one question was thinking about rates. So if we use and bid using competitive market-based commercial rates, would they be acceptable? And so the answer is that to the extent practicable, Washington state agencies are required to enter into performance-based contracts that identify expected deliverables and performance measures or outcomes, and they're contingent upon the contractor providing such deliverables or achieving performance outcomes. And then Tina, just if there's any nuance or anything that you want to share, just jump in anytime.
Okay, no problem.
The second question, bidders are encouraged to structure technical and cost proposals in a performance-based manner that identify payments tied to deliverables. However, proposals that identify itemized costs, such as salary, fringe, and overhead, will be accepted and reviewed. Would letters, and then it goes on to talk about the bidder qualifications. Letters of recommendation from at least 3 Washington accredited educator preparation programs in the United States. And the question was, would letters of recommendation from 3 state departments of education be acceptable, or from subject matter expert or partner organizations on their experience working and coordinating with the company, or from teacher training preparation programs in the US, but not necessarily in Washington? And so we clarified that no, we required letters of recommendation from at least 3 Washington accredited educator preparation programs, as they will be the main contacts and partners within this project. Not having their support would be detrimental to the work activities and the outcomes. And that we recommended potential contractors reach out to those Washington educator prep programs to discuss their ideas and to request letters of support. Well, I'll return here to the RFP. Are there any other wonderings or items on which we could provide clarification?
Yeah, I do. Let me see if I can get out what I'm thinking. And I'm sorry if it says this, I just haven't had an opportunity to really comprehend it, I guess. So Spark is we provide special education preschool services, and we do inclusion models. We partner with Head Start programs. So our expertise is preschool age students. All of our teachers are preschool teachers. And so I imagine we would have some great input on offering support for this. However, our expertise aren't for 8th graders or, so are you pulling organizations together who offer different types of services to meet this, or is it just kind of one fits all?
I think that's a really, yeah, I think that's a really good question. What I would say is that this RFP is focused on the facilitation of the work. And so it's about being able to bring together those partners who are in educator prep programs, and then also these being able to recruit content experts to contribute to the development of those modules. So I would say that as long as the proposal can speak to that in a very universal way, that it would capture, the full range of students. Currently, the Inclusionary Practices Project The funding for that is focused on K-12,
Okay.
at least for this year. It does not include preschool funding. We are hopeful that if the project is extended beyond this school year, that it would expand to include preschool as well.
Okay. So that right there tells me to back out.
Well, I mean,
at this point anyway.
if the focus would be preschool, yes. If the focus of your company can be inclusive of the entire range, then it may still be an option for you to consider.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Mhm.
What I guess one more, if you guys do extend it next year, will it be the same type RFQ, RFP, sorry, or will it be like, should I stay on and listen, or should I wait till next year to see what happens?
It is very much up in the air at this point what may happen in the legislative session. And Tina might be able to speak to this a little more detailed than I, but generally what we would consider first would be continuing the existing contracts that we would have in place this year. Right, Tina, we're not envisioning adding new contracts for the years 3 and 4.
The intent is to continue on with their current contractors, but if this is work that we need to go out for RFP, that's a possibility depending on the funding we receive. But the original intent is to continue with the contractors we currently have in place.
Okay.
Except of course for the preschool, because the current inclusionary practices dollars are just K through 12 this year.
Right.
But we're requesting for next year to include preschool.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica, you don't have any questions for us?
We'll wait maybe another minute or two just to see if either of you have any more questions, and then if not, we can end today's session.
Thank you so much. I think I'm good. I'll be looking through the RFP more in depth.
Great. Thank you for joining us, Jessica.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you having us. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Amanda. I appreciate your questions.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so it is 2:24, and we have had two partners or two potential bidders on today, and we don't have any more questions. So with that, I will end today's session. Thank you, Tina, and thank you, Sharon, for joining.
Thank you.
You're welcome.